when it comes to getting the proper care.
Seeking medical attention at the first sign of stroke symptoms can significantly reduce long-term disability and enhance recovery. It can also increase eligibility for clinical trials, potentially leading to additional treatment options.
For more information on the signs and symptoms of stroke, visit stroke.org.
If you have aging parents, you've probably worried about their bathroom. That old tub? It's a slip and a disaster waiting to happen. Hi, this is Ursula Reutin. With Bathfitter, you can convert it into a walk-in shower, custom fit, installed in just one day, and backed by a lifetime warranty. No mess, no demo, just a safer, better bathroom. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule your free consultation. And right now, take advantage of 0% interest for 24 months.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Check out the Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley's new location at 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for your 4th and enjoy great food at Firecracker Alley. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Open now through July 4th.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump speaks up for his budget bill.
I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed.
CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns on Capitol Hill reports Senate votes getting underway on a third day of debate on the measure.
Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. She's the most moderate Republican, you could argue, up here on Capitol Hill, and she has been a holdout. So they have been working on some carve-outs for her, possibly for the state of Alaska, to get her support for this bill.
Vice President Vance is on Capitol Hill if needed to break a tie. President Trump is in Florida to get a first-hand look at the new migrant detention center in the Everglades that's been called Alligator Alcatraz.
I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long.
And he says there's a natural deterrent facing anyone who wants to escape. CBS's Aaron Navarro.
They are going to be held in tents and trailers, potentially right before hurricane season here in Florida. And when kind of proposed that idea, you saw one state Republican official say that the hurricanes might motivate these migrants to, quote, self-deport.
Well, CBS's Michael Wallace tells us a new study estimates that more than 14 million of the world's most vulnerable people could die by 2030 because of the Trump administration's dismantling of U.S. foreign aid.
Research in the Lancet Medical Journal says a third of those deaths will be children under 5. Trump and Elon Musk's Doge canceled 83% of USAID programs, including all funding to Mana Nutrition, a Georgia nonprofit that makes meals for malnourished children overseas. Mark Moore co-founded Mana.
Without them, global food aid will grind to a halt.
The Lancet report estimates USAID funding prevented more than 90 million deaths in developing countries between 2001 and 2021.
Oklahoma has stopped recommending fluoride in public water systems. Tulsa dentist Nicole Nellis supplies fluoride to the teeth of patients who want it.
You would have to drink 92 gallons of water in one sitting to get fluoride toxicity from the water.
Utah and Florida have already moved to remove fluoride from public water systems. His public Facebook page says televangelist Jimmy Swaggart has died. He was a fire and brimstone preacher brought down by a sex scandal in 1988.
I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain.
Swaggart, who was 90 years old, had been in ill health recently. Wall Street, the Dow is up more than 400 points. The S&P and NASDAQ are trading lower. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We're live in Moscow, Idaho with a surprising guilty plea. That story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. It is slow going into Seattle on northbound I-5. You have a stall at Alborough and a new crash at Seneca. You are jammed up midway down Boeing Field. Travel time Federal Way to Seattle 60 minutes, though that is typically better than usual. Travel time Everett to Seattle, though, is 62 minutes. Surprising there, that's half an hour longer. Near Port Orchard, a crash on northbound State Route 3 is backed up traffic onto State Route 16 back to Bethel. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The man accused of stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students avoids the death penalty. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live from Moscow to explain. Luke?
Heather, Brian Kohberger is expected to plead guilty tomorrow in court and spend the rest of his life in prison. I'm standing right now at the scene of those murders here at the University of Idaho. I'm looking at the lot where prosecutors say Kohberger killed those students. The lot is empty right now. That house was demolished some 2 years ago, but there is an ongoing memorial here with candles, stuffed animals, and notes left for the victims. And most of the people I talked with here in Moscow this morning are angry. They wanted the death penalty for Kohberger, and so did some of the victims' family members. Prosecutors say the plea deal ensures a conviction. Live in Moscow, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The family of one of those victims, Kaylee Gonsalves, is expressing outrage. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss is reading what they've posted on social media.
The justice system was created to serve and protect, not to re-traumatize grieving families. And yet, time and time again, we find ourselves blindsided, unheard, and unsupported. This last-minute plea deal feels less like an act of justice and more like an afterthought.
Kohberger is expected to enter his plea tomorrow. The man accused of setting a wildfire in northern Idaho and then shooting at responding firefighters has been officially identified as 20-year-old Wes Rowley. But Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris says they have no motive.
We have not been able to find any manifesto.
And he says Rowley had no criminal record. A procession carrying the bodies of the 2 firefighters he's accused of killing will begin in about an hour. It runs from a medical examiner's office in Spokane to a funeral home in Coeur d'Alene. Frontline medical workers walk off the job at Multicare in Parkland. Emergency department employees are frustrated over contract talks and they're claiming labor violations. More from KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha.
The strike was seen as a last resort, and the workers say having it go into a holiday where emergency calls add up wasn't planned.
The care isn't going to be there, which is very disheartening.
Staffing has also been an issue for these workers since the union says the staff levels dwindled from 120 to about 75 workers.
Multicare says it is negotiating in good faith and it does not anticipate any disruption of patient care. Boeing hires a new chief financial officer. Jay Malave is coming from Lockheed Martin, where he's also serving as CFO. He'll take over for Brian West next month, and unlike West, Boeing says Malave will live here in Seattle. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80 degrees. It is 69 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, the first of the month, July 1st. Whoa, where did this year go? 6 months down already of 2025. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. It feels both like time is flying and then time is also crawling for some reason. Think about how much we have packed into the year 2025 since January 1st. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
It has been a lot.
Been a
But
lot.
yes, time flies. We are just a few days away from Independence Day. How are you going to be celebrating the 4th? Are you planning to go to the beach? We're going to have Sully join us again because he is an expert on all things having to do with the Washington coast because he hangs out there quite a bit. And he's going to talk about that whole beach driving thing.
Every year we talk about that, or every holiday.
Yeah.
Hey, the 4th of July is coming up.
Yeah.
What are you going to be eating?
Well,
what are you looking forward to? How about this one? How about the Gee and Ursula hey, who is the one person that you don't look forward to seeing at that get-together? Text us, 888-973-5476. Come on now.
That is so funny. The reason I'm cringing right now is because only you would come up with a question like that. That's assuming that there's someone you don't want to see. Is there always a guarantee that there's someone? Do you always have beef with somebody at every event?
No, I don't. However, it doesn't get talked about enough because the truth is, right now, there's somebody that doesn't want to be around their mother-in-law. There's somebody that doesn't want to be around their brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Right? So you are getting ready to go to this event.
Yeah.
You're going to go to this barbecue or get together, and you know you don't want to be around that one person, and you're dreading it. It's on your mind.
Yeah.
You might not admit it, but you're thinking about it.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Watch the text message
Text
come
line, 888-973-5476.
All right,
888-973 KIRO.
Ursula's top stories of the day brought to you by Bathfitter and them, Northwest.
And I'm sorry that I'm going to have to start with something very serious, but we have a lot of big stories this morning. We have now learned, of course, that Brian Koberger is going to be pleading guilty to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Part of a deal to avoid the death penalty. Prosecutors confirming this now in a letter to the victims' families yesterday, saying that the plea deal guarantees 4 consecutive life sentences with no chance of parole and no opportunity for appeals. A change of plea hearing is now set for tomorrow, and sentencing could happen later this month. The families of the victims are devastated. Kaylee's father, Steve Gonsalves, calls the decision an outrage.
This is anything but justice. This is the opposite of our will. There was no majority believing that this was acceptable. I want to honor all the police officers, the FBI, and all the people that work their tail off. The failure is at the court level, 100%.
They say they were not consulted in any meaningful way. They had told prosecutors they were firmly against a plea deal. In fact, they met with the prosecution as recently as Friday to reiterate that. But prosecutors in their letter said they believe this deal offers justice without the trauma of a lengthy trial or the decades of appeals that would come with a death sentence. But as often happens with these types of stories, we got to ask the question again. If the families of the victims are still pleading for a trial, should the state move forward without their support? Or is avoiding the death penalty the best outcome in a situation like this, given appeals, the pain, the cost, etc.?
Koberger should not breathe life within the next couple months. He should not even exist anymore. If in the state of Idaho they're making a deal for him to plead guilty and just go life in prison after that, then I thought Idaho was one of those states, right? Now, I could see Washington doing something like that because we had Gary Ridgway in this state, and we all know that deal that he got, and you can understand, like, probably nobody will probably get the death penalty in this state.
We don't have the death penalty in the state right now.
So when you look at Idaho, you think, wow, that's happening. I kind of feel for that parent because those parents are basically saying that's not what we wanted. Like, I wonder, is he saying, Ursula, that they didn't even talk to them about that?
This is the part. The Gonsalves family has been the most vocal of the 4 victims' families.
They have, yep.
So he has done probably the most interviews. He has been the most vocal. They made it very clear that they wanted the death penalty. I am not clear, and I don't know that the other families have said what they want. But it sounds like most of the families, if not all of the families, were caught off guard by the prosecution's decision to do it now.
Right.
Because we were all leading, you've heard on our newscast that they were leading toward the trial finally. I mean, this happened several years ago now. Mm-hmm. And we're just now getting to this point, and now the families feel like or at least some of them feel like they're blindsided and this is not what they want. That all said, I also understand that the death penalty anymore, especially post-Ridgway, Gary Ridgway, if someone killing more than 38 women or, more than 40 women does not get the death penalty, who gets the death penalty? Unless you're in Texas or unless you're in one of those states where it's much easier, and there is no fight. I'm not surprised, but my heart goes out to the families that feel like they're not going to get justice. And then the other part of me, and I guess when we talk about this in the 10 o'clock hour, because I want to bring this back up, we have Luke Ducey over in Idaho getting reaction. I guess the other question would be, so if he does get life in prison 4 times consecutively, does that feel like he's getting a break? Does that, and then...
Yes.
Yeah, and my other question would be, would it be better if he were compelled to do something like explain why you did it? Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't, up until now, he's been denying that it's even been him. Now, what brings the family any kind of closure?
Not thinking about the fact that he will have something that 17 million Americans probably won't have after this beautiful bill goes through. Health insurance. Think about that for a second. This dude, Kohlberger, will get 3 hots in a cot. He will get fed. He will get to read books. He will get to enjoy. He won't be on the outside world, right? So he will have to adjust to a new world, which would be, again, working out a little bit. He can do some push-ups. He can do some sit-ups. He can breathe fresh air. He can read books. He can educate himself.
Yeah, the victim's family, I was just going to say, the victim's family says life in prison for Kohlberger is adult child care. Basically saying that inmates often get air conditioning, food, and even access to the internet. Well,
and I'm not trying to be funny. I am being serious. This dude doesn't have to worry about being cut off of SNAP programs. Doesn't have to worry about Medicaid or anything. Like, everything will be provided for this man. So I'm sorry. I know my daughter and I, we go round and round about this. I am for the death penalty. And if someone like this does not get the death penalty, then what are we talking about, man? This is a joke. This is a joke. The worst case scenario, you could just go and sit in this place for the rest of your life, educate yourself, work out, have fun, recreation, all that stuff. Man, my heart goes out to these families.
Okay, text us. Do you agree with G? Or do you think going for the death penalty is too expensive and 4 consecutive life prison sentences is enough? Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We are now continuing to learn more about the deeply troubled 20-year-old who ambushed and killed those 2 Idaho firefighters over the weekend. Authorities say Wes Rowley deliberately set that fire near Coeur d'Alene and then opened fire on the first responders who rushed in, killing battalion chiefs Frank Harwood and John Morrison and critically injuring firefighter David Teisdall. Rowley later died by suicide in the mountains nearby. He apparently had once wanted to be a firefighter, and then somewhere along the line, something broke. And his former roommate, TJ Franks, tells King 5 News he met Rowley working at a tree service and allowed him to actually stay at his place for about 6 months. And he kicked him out after he says Rowley started making gang signs at a security camera.
I woke up to a phone call this morning from my brother, and he was like, "Dude, you're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" And he said, "Your roommate's name was Wes Rowley, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he sent me the picture of him, and I read the news, and honestly, I was just freaking out really bad. My whole family met him. It's scary because, I don't know, he could have flipped at any time.
Of these murders, have also stunned lawmakers, including our Senator Maria Cantwell and Republican Idaho State Representative Jordan Redmond.
Many Washington police and responders participated in yesterday's activities. Our hearts go out to the people of Idaho.
This evil attack on the people who dedicate their lives to protecting and serving our communities is despicable, and it's not Idaho.
And hearing that reaction, it's not Idaho. If this isn't who we are, then how do these horrific crimes like this happen over and over? I mean, is this who we are? And what are we doing to stop the next one?
It's going to be tough. And what I mean by it's going to be tough to stop the next one is I think that collectively as a country, we can't do what we used to. We're not in the same times. This dude is 20 years old. So that means back in 2020, when the pandemic happened, he was 15 years old when that happened. I have no idea what's going on with his family. I have no idea. Well, what's going on with his family?
Well, his mother filed for divorce in September of 2015. Her son was 10 years old. She wrote in court documents her husband had threatened her, pushed her to the ground, and punched several holes in the walls. She wrote in these court documents, he threatened to sit outside my house with a sniper rifle or burn my house down.
The husband did?
The ex.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Well, let me say this. Thank you for adding that. There's a lot of things that goes on in a lot of families, right? There's a lot of trauma that has happened to individuals, to families, and there is never any justification for anything heinous like this happening. However, going back to what you said about what we can do better to prevent this, here's the truth, okay? Here is the real truth. The real truth is that our country does not want to do enough to really help so many people out. Our country's in a situation where we usually wait until the last minute, or we wait until something tragic has happened. I don't care about what kind of trauma has happened in anybody's family. This happening, we might be hearing about this more and more again, because let's be real. We're living in a country right now that we are in serious turmoil. I said to Heather Bosch this morning when I was back there getting coffee, I'm almost 50 years old, right? And yes, there's been bad things that's happened in this country. This is the first time in my life where I don't feel like the United States of America is striving for better. It's the first time in my life that I don't feel like this country is progressing forward. And all of the things that we've had happen in the past, I always felt that we were going forward. Today, I don't feel that way. So back to this topic right here, Ursula, we might see more of this because they're 20 years old. 20. Like, what is this young man is 20 years old, not 40, not 50, 20. I'm curious if other people who are listening right now are feeling the way you do, G. You know that no matter how bad things will be, I always try to what is it? I can wake up today, I have another opportunity to do better. And I can only control the things that I can control. But my question to all of you is this who we are? Or is there anything that we all agree that we need to do better to have a better future? I mean, the grandfather of this 20-year-old said that he wanted to pursue a career in the fire service, and he says that he was not a loner, as former friends claimed, but then authorities say he'd been living in the woods in his car recently. You asked the question.
Yeah.
Is this who we are right now?
Yeah. Is this who we are?
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, we just went from one story where one person killed 4 college students, and then another, where they lured firefighters into and then ambushed them. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, this is who we are, sadly.
This is who we are. And also, by the way, we also are a country that, based on who the person is that is committing the crime, so if this person believes the same way I believe politically, we are okay with that person getting away with that crime. Yes. Right now in the United States of America, this is exactly who we are. We could go back to a time, well, was this stuff happening in the 20s? Yes, there were mobs and massacres all through the country during that time. The 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, right? We started to get better. The civil rights movement happened. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Now we're into 2025, and we're probably going 40 to 50 years step backwards. We don't want to do anything about guns because,
I've stopped even talking about, what can we do about guns?
Cool. No problem. I won't talk about the guns either. You're right. I think we have.
I'm just saying this because anytime we bring it up, I mean, it's just we're bombarded with, it's not a gun problem. Stop calling it gun violence. Yeah. It's just it's a shutdown of, I guess we don't want to do anything.
This is who we are. Last night, I'm sitting there watching as the Republican senators yesterday, they put an amendment out there. Here's the amendment. Real simple. Hey, how about for families with kids 12 years and younger? Can we not cut them off of SNAP? Their vote comes up? Nope. They voted against that. So I'm curious, if you don't think that little things like families being hungry does not lead to so many other things, does not lead to domestic violence, does not lead to divorce, does not lead to families splitting up, does not lead to mental health issues, you cannot pick and choose when you want better for this country and then politicize the actions that will make better for this country. So, unfortunately, Ursula, I apologize to you. I know that ain't what you want to hear from me. This is exactly who we are in the United States of America as of today.
And I'm going to just say right now, this cannot be who we are. And even though I feel exasperated and exhausted every time we talk about violence committed by people with guns or violence, period, we've got to do better. We really have to do better. Okay, still ahead, we've got...
And by the way, we're for doing better, for our young generation that's coming behind us, that we want them to help us do better, they're broke. They have no money because they can't get a house, because in the Seattle area, in the state of Washington, they're walking around paying $2,800 and $3,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Hey, just save some money. Don't eat your avocado toast. Don't drink your latte. And by the way, help save the world.
Oh my God, you are just... Okay, can we reset? Can we reset? We're going to reset because we're going to talk about beach driving on July 4th.
Ursula,
oh my gosh.
You the best, Ursula.
Oh my God. We're resetting. we're injecting some fun in here, but we just needed to start off with a reality check. At some point in the show, we're also going to talk about who's now on TikTok Shop.
I'm going to talk about some of the people that don't want to see some of their family on the 4th.
Okay, there you go, too. Okay, we're going to have fun. We'll turn it around from here on out, here on the Gee and Ursula Show, at least this hour.
A Pacific Northwest community searching for answers.
Tragedy in northern Idaho.
Unbelievable. You just don't expect somebody to do that to a firefighter.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is there.
Those firefighters, they arrived here to put out a fire started by the suspect. They had no idea where those bullets were coming from.
Stay with KIRO News Radio for the latest from the local voices you trust.
Attacks on first responders is sick.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally draining, but it can also be a financial hardship. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. This year, we are proud to celebrate 25 years of Northwest Hope and Healing. Since the year 2000, we have distributed over $2.8 million in direct financial assistance to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can help us make a difference. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville. It's an unforgettable afternoon of unwavering hope and inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. we're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Being the new kid in high school is hard. I didn't know if I would be accepted or if I'd fit in, because being known is key to who we are. Hi, I'm Peyton Seal. When I first came to King Schools, I knew something was different. My teachers cared about me. I have community. I'm learning who God called me to be.
Sign up for a tour today, and if you enroll, just mention this ad and pay no application fee. Visit joinkings.org for more info. That's joinkings.org, building resilient disciples of Christ through Christian education for 75 years.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words, packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
CBS News special report. President Trump's budget bill passes the U.S. Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
It ends several days of debate with Republicans pushing GOP holdouts to sign on.
They have spent all morning trying to wrangle the vote of Lisa Murkowski, one of the most moderate Senate Republicans up here on Capitol Hill. And so we're waiting to see what exactly moved her across the finish line.
Well, 3 Republicans did vote against it. CBS's Caitlin Huey Burns on Capitol Hill.
The big question is, how does the House respond? This has gone through the Senate. Now it has to go back over to the House because there have been changes made to the Senate version of this bill. The House has to approve it.
President Trump called it the greatest bill ever passed. CBS News special report. I'm Steve Kathan.
And I'm Heather Bosch. The man accused of stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students is expected in court tomorrow to plead guilty. In exchange, Brian Koberger will dodge the death penalty. This man near the Moscow home where the killings took place is okay with the decision.
I think after the case is complete, I think that's when the healing will begin. Even though he's just, he's not going to get the death penalty, that's up for us to decide. we just got to move on but continue to honor the family and honor those people that passed away, and we'll heal together.
Starting in about half an hour, a procession will begin to honor 2 firefighters fatally shot as they responded to a wildfire in northern Idaho Sunday. The bodies of Frank Harwood and John Morrison will be carried from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office to a funeral chapel in Coeur d'Alene. A third firefighter remains in critical but stable condition. Investigators say the suspect killed himself at the scene. You are going to pay more at the pump starting today. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more on the higher gas tax to pay for road projects.
In the spring, Washington lawmakers passed a transportation revenue package that includes a 6-cent gas hike, bringing the per-gallon tax up to 55.4 cents. Diesel is also increasing by 3 cents per gallon today, too. By next year, the tax will increase 2% annually to keep up with inflation. Washington drivers pay the third highest gas prices in the country, behind California and Hawaii.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 441 points, NASDAQ down 153. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Parkland on State Route 512, west of Canyon Road, a logging truck rolled over and it has lost its load. This will take a while to clean up. You're crawling right now from Portland Avenue East to South Meridian. It's slow going into Seattle on northbound I-5 due to an earlier stall at Aldboro and a crash at Seneca. You're jammed up midway down Boeing Field. Near Port Orchard, a crash on northbound State Route 3 has backed up traffic onto State Route 16 to about the Cedar Heights Forest. That's an improvement, though, over earlier hours. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It is 69 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and you did hear the breaking news that the bill the so-called big, beautiful bill has passed. As it turns out, President Trump was doing a news conference at Alligator Alcatraz, and now he is responding to the passage of the bill, which has been worked on and debated for many, many, many hours. And so coming up at 47, we're going to switch gears, G. Instead of what we were going to talk about, we're going to give you a synopsis of what is in this bill. And then I want to find out from people who are happy that it's passed, because and what is it that's in this bill that you feel is going to improve your life. And then
I'll make a promise.
I want to hear from those of you who also are worried about what it means for you and your family. But right now, we need to talk to Sully. Chris Sullivan is here. It is 4th of July week. And are you going to the beach, by the way?
I am not.
Oh.
This year.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay, but you got a lot to say about the beach.
I'm trying something different.
Okay.
But I'm out kind of with cautionary tales and advice for people who have never been down to the beach before, and primarily for people who haven't really driven on the beach before, because every year, and especially when we have a 4th on a Friday or Saturday, we get so many people down there. And then added into the mix this year is the high tide is right about the time that the fireworks are going to go off, which means as everybody is leaving the beach, the tide will have come in a lot further than you may have expected while you're sitting there. So while you're watching the bonfire, watching the fireworks, the ocean may creep up on you and you may not notice it. We've seen it before. We've been down there for similar situations where all of a sudden people's cars are in the surf, where 45 minutes ago they were dry. So I'm just out to remind everybody that if you're heading down there, just a couple other things to be prepared for as you head down for the 4th, to make sure that you're safe and you make sure your car doesn't end up in the surf, which I have seen multiple times, or if you get stuck in the sand. So I'm just there to kind of warn everybody. I've got some tips if you guys want to go over those.
Yeah, give us
I know it's
tips.
a little hard because we're heavy news here and it's kind of hard to transition.
No. We need levity.
Okay.
What are the tips?
Okay. So the tips are basically if you have a front-wheel drive car, or if you are an RV motorhome, or somebody carrying a trailer, you have you should not be going onto the beach. You shouldn't even try it because the ruts are usually heavy depending on where you are, and you're going to bottom out. You just don't have the power.
It's happened.
Yeah, and don't trust your four-wheel drive or your all-wheel drive to get you out or to make you go through the sand nice and easy. Unless you have experience with it, it can be difficult. The first thing you need to do is get rid of your traction control. Turn that off, so that your tires aren't trying to rebalance themselves or work themselves through. All 4 tires are working together. With traction control, they move around. Disable that so you can go through easier. Watch for ruts. A lot of people say take air out of your tires so you have a little bit more surface area. The problem with that at the beach sometimes is that the ruts can be super heavy, and that just that little bit of air out can reduce your clearance as well, which means you might get stuck. So the idea here is to just, take it easy, pick your line, go for it, speed, keep your speed up, but don't go super fast. And most importantly, don't get flustered and, kind of freak out, because getting off the beach Friday night is going to be very chaotic. The tide's in, people are drunk and driving. I hate to tell you, that's going to happen. There are going to be dogs and children running all over the place. There are going to be unattended fires that people just bailed on, plus debris piles of fireworks, plus all the logs and other stuff that's there. It can be very chaotic. And if you lose it then, that's like the absolute worst time to get stuck in the sand.
Wait. I need to stop you.
No.
Because you said there are people who are going to be driving drunk. Is there law enforcement out there?
Oh, yeah. But not enough. They have 100,000 people expected to go to Long Beach. You've been down to Long Beach.
I have been.
But 100,000 people on that beach, how can you patrol that much? But they're going to be down there. They're going to state patrol, county, the park rangers. They're going to do the best they can. But, yeah, I've seen people sit there and drink all day, firing off the fireworks, and then they just get right in the car and they drive. Happens all the time. Not appropriate. But it happens. And so you're going to have all of these different possibilities. And if you've never driven in the sand and all this is going around you, you're probably going to get really flustered. So I'm just reminding everybody to take it easy, take your time, be calm. But that 4th of July with the tide in is going to have a lot of different things you need to be prepared for.
Okay, Gee, you and I were debating yesterday about whether they should continue with the 4th of July fireworks at the beach, because I guess there was some question as to whether this tradition should continue. What do you think? Because there's all sorts of problems. It ends up looking like a war zone the day after.
Well, the thing is that down in Long Beach, matter of fact, this week the city council's actually been. I know about city council in Long Beach. That's how much I've tied into it. Is there because they have a ban on fireworks in Long Beach. The problem is, where does Long Beach proper extend to? Onto the beach. They're debating that because if you're inside the Long Beach city limits, you cannot fire them off, which might limit a part of the beach. But on the beach, they're fine. I still think they're fine on the beach. Yeah. You mean you're aiming out towards the ocean as long as you're 100 feet away from the dunes and you don't cause fires. It's been pretty wet down there, so hopefully that won't be an issue. But yeah, it's one of the very few places left you can do it. The problem is you're right. The people go down there and they trash the place.
Yeah, they trash it, and then they're dumping heavy metals and plastics
all over the place. They trash. I'm just talking Long Beach, but Ocean Shores.
Yes.
It's just they trash the place. The other thing I want people to warn of is we've been down to the 4th of July where people have died in the surf. People who don't, even during the day, they go out, they don't realize the water. They think it's a nice beach like you have in California or Florida if you've never been here before. They don't realize that there are crab pools and tidal pools just out of sight. You could be in your knees, take one step and be up to your chest and be gone like that. It's happened to us, again, with drinking. It can happen, not just kids, but it's happened before. And I just want people, 5 people have already died on the Oregon and Washington coast this year in the surf. And so I want people to be aware. Go down and have a great time, have a blast. But there are a lot of things that you need to think about and assumptions that you can't make that can cost you if you're just not careful.
And the first thing should be, if you're going to be drinking, don't get behind the wheel.
Yeah, or really shoot out fireworks either. Those are generally not a good combination.
For sure.
Thanks, Sully.
Yeah,
Appreciate
anytime.
It. Hey, coming up next, the bill. That's right. The bill has passed. The Senate passes that big old, some call it beautiful, some call it ugly, but we're here now, and Ursula and I will talk about it next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining, I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. We'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
Call Day and Night to save $50 off any drain cleaning.
DayandNight.net.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
At Clear Choice Dental Implant Centers, we get that your teeth, your budget, and your story are all unique to you, which is why our experts who specialize in dental implants will build a custom solution around each patient's needs. With personalized treatment plans and third-party financing options, we'll help you get your new teeth on your terms. Visit clearchoice.com or call 888-SMILE-05 to schedule your free consultation today and let us help Seattle start smiling again.
Office is owned by Dr. Alfonso Pinheiro.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, it's John Curley. You know, I've been a patient of Longevity Medical Clinic since 2009, and Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. You know what's amazing, Doctor? the feelings that you have after just a couple of months. You sleep better. Your strength and vitality, it is evident that it works. It's really a mindset, though, Dr. Mixon, because a lot of people, well, this is what's supposed to happen.
Let us help you be stronger, faster, leaner, smarter, sexier, but most important, happier. I'm less impressed by how many years I might live, but how much I live during my years. You know, the option is here. Nobody's going to make you go to longevity, but the opportunity is there, and all you have to do is take advantage of it. I don't know why anybody would not want to do what we do.
And that's where Longevity Medical Clinic comes in. So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Join us at Life in Color, a brunch auction and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon celebrating 25 years of hope and support. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Get lower home energy bills, cleaner air, and year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing, starting at just $99 for PSE customers replacing their furnace or heat pump. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
It is the Gee Ursula Show. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Usually we do need to talk, but you know, on this show right here, we also react to current news that's going on. The Senate has passed and sent back to the House the so-called big, beautiful bill on a 50-50 vote with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking affirmative vote.
This is essentially the president's agenda in legislative form. This is extending the Trump tax cuts, the ones that were originally passed in 2017, extending those, creating new tax cuts, no federal tax on tips, no federal tax on overtime pay. Those are new provisions. Also increasing money for immigration enforcement, another key priority from the president. That's also in this bill. But those cuts had to come from somewhere, and those cuts have been made to various entitlement programs, including to Medicaid.
Okay, Ursula, break down some other things in this bill.
Okay, so if you want to know what this is going to do in terms of adding to our national debt, the CBO, which is a nonpartisan, it's the Congressional Budget Office, is estimating that this bill, if passed as it is right now, would add more than $3 trillion to the national debt over 10 years. It still has to pass this Senate survive amendment votes and return to the House for approval, but it did pass the Senate now. Now it goes back to the House. But again, this was the big thing. They had the vote-a-rama. You were watching and you saw some of the votes that were taken because the Democrats basically want the Republicans
to be on record.
Uh-huh. There was one Republican who went on record and said, I'm not voting for this bill. And I can't remember the name. It's a North Carolina Republican. Yeah. And he basically also said, I'm also not going to run for office again because President Trump was threatening basically anyone who votes against this, which he calls the best bill ever. He threatened that he would basically campaign against them. Now, former best buddy Elon Musk has said anyone who votes in favor of the bill, he's going to basically work to try to get you out of office as well. Yeah. So, I mean, it is highly contentious. It essentially permanently locks in the lower income tax rates that were first enacted under President Trump's first term. Right. So essentially, what people are not going to see a big difference. They're just not going to see those tax cuts go away. Right. But we're going to see a big change when it comes to our social safety net. The child tax credit increases to $2,200 in 2026 with a new requirement that at least one parent has a social security number. There is going to be Medicaid and health care. It's going to be reduced by, is it $1.4 trillion? Chef, you
That's correct.
I was actually, you know what? I have some stuff from yesterday talking about what this would do. But in essence, the biggest concerns were what it would do to Medicaid. And you and I talked yesterday. We're all in favor of cutting out Medicaid fraud.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Ursula, it breaks my heart when you bring up 17 million Americans will be losing access to Medicaid. And the first thing someone says is, yeah, man, but the fraud, all that widespread fraud that's happening in Medicaid. And it would be like someone cutting off that family, that one family that needs to get food, and you cut them off because, there's just a lot of fraud. There's a lot. Sure. Yes, there is fraud. And the thing that breaks my heart about this bill is that I feel that the majority of people that this will impact have no idea that it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest winners are corporations and the wealthy, for sure. And the biggest losers are our kids, essentially. We're adding to the national debt. We are also going to be making big changes when it comes to, the other big losers are the lower income households because, again, this is going to cause nearly 12 million low income people to lose their health insurance over the next decade by cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid.
There was an amendment on the floor yesterday. And the amendment was for there to be a higher tax rate on those that make $1 and more over $10 million. Let me say that again. Nothing until the same, up to $10 million. Anything after the $10 million that you make will get taxed at a higher rate. And the Republican Senate said no. So what I'm saying is we are now at a time where I think big business, big corporations, and billionaires are calling the shots. They are running our country. And what does this mean? Well, this is what it means. If you are not part of the top 5-10% financially in this country, it's going to hurt. The fact that we are continuing to help and give money, these tax breaks to these billionaires. And by the way, I'm not demonizing billionaires. That's not what I'm doing. I am more in support for the people, the vast majority of people who are not billionaires, who are not rich. And we talk about the middle and lower class. That's just gone. That's going to be gone. And we're going to see so many people right here at home in the state of Washington. We're going to see it hurt.
And we're going to hear a lot more. And again, this still goes to the House, but this was the big hurdle that they needed to clear. One of the estimates is this could lead to nearly 500,000 healthcare jobs being lost over the next decade. It would mean a big drop off in doctor's office visits, prescription refills, medical procedures, which means, again, fewer workers for those types of services. The impacts are going to be huge. So this is a big, big bill that's going to have great impacts. But I guess the one of the things that I heard from one of our listeners is the no tax on tips. That is happening. That's a positive.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Hey, coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, we got a packed 10 o'clock hour. We will have the owner of Island Soul. He will be coming in and hanging out with us at some point in the 10 o'clock hour.
What's he talking about?
He's going to be talking about the impact that that small businesses are going through to survive here in the city of Seattle. And we'll be talking about his restaurant, Island Soul, as well. And Alligator Alcatraz. Do you want to go visit there? Because some people do. We talk about all of that next. Gee and Ursula.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right.
No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Gee and Ursula, weekdays from 9 to noon on KIRO News Radio.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Save up to 25% of remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners during Home Comfort Alliance warehouse clearance while supplies last. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. A big win in the U.S. Senate for President Trump.
The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
Vice President Vance casting the deciding vote on the Trump budget bill. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
This is essentially the president's agenda in legislative form. This is extending the Trump tax cuts, the ones that were originally passed in 2017, extending those, creating new tax cuts. No federal tax on tips, no federal tax on overtime pay. Those are new provisions. Also increasing money for immigration enforcement, another key priority from the president. That's also in this bill.
3 Republicans voted against it. The bill does feature steep cuts in programs, including Medicaid and food stamps. President Trump is in Florida today to see a new migrant detention center in the Everglades.
We have a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that are in the form of alligators. You don't have to pay them so much.
CBS's Manuel Bojorquez.
The isolated outdoor facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz is surrounded by dangerous wildlife, oppressive heat, and raises alarms with immigration advocates over due process concerns.
A plea deal avoids the death penalty for Brian Kohberger, the man charged with the stabbing deaths of 4 Idaho college students in 2022. CBS News legal contributor Caroline Polisi.
They're getting a conviction right away. They're getting the absolute guarantee of life behind bars without the possibility of parole.
Some family members of the victims are angered by the decision. Overseas, correspondent Deborah Pata tells us there's an international call for an end to operations by the Israeli-American group Gaza Humanitarian Fund.
Today, 130 humanitarian organizations, including some of the world's biggest NGOs, have called for the GHA for operations to be shut down, saying the foundation is basically violating all the norms of humanitarian work, including forcing 2 million people into overcrowded and militarized zones where they could be killed.
It got close to 100 degrees today in Paris, hot enough for them to close the upper portion of the Eiffel Tower. This tourist was just fine with that.
Earlier we thought that we would be going up the stairs for the second floor, but we won't do that. We will skip that.
The heat wave in most of Europe is due to ease off a bit tomorrow. Disgraced televangelist Jimmy Swaggart has died at 90. He was brought down by a sex scandal in the late 1980s. Wall Street, the Dow is up more than 300 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
A procession honoring 2 Northwest firefighters killed in the line of duty gets underway. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Parkland on State Route 512, west of Canyon Road, a logging truck rolled over, lost its load. The tow truck is on scene. You are still crawling from about Portland Avenue East to South Meridian. And it's slow going into Seattle on northbound I-5 due to an earlier stall at Alborough and crash at Seneca. But your travel time, Federal Way to Seattle, is 35 minutes. That's pretty good this time of day. Near Port Orchard, your backup is starting to ease on State Route 16. This was due to an earlier crash on northbound State Route 3. You're only jammed on 16 now to about Kitsap County Park. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Accused killer Brian Koberger has agreed to plead guilty in the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students, allowing him to avoid the death penalty. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports from Moscow.
A small memorial now sits here at the murder scene. Candles, stuffed animals, notes to the victims. This now empty lot is where prosecutors say Koberger entered a house and murdered 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Some people in this college town are still scared.
It crosses my mind all the time. Someone could just break in and just kill my family.
Koberger is expected to enter his guilty plea Wednesday in court. In Moscow, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A procession is getting underway to honor 2 firefighters fatally shot as they responded to a wildfire in northern Idaho Sunday. The bodies of Frank Harwood and John Morrison will be carried from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office to a funeral chapel in Coeur d'Alene. A 3rd firefighter remains in critical but stable condition. We're learning more about the man who's accused of killing them.
There is information that we've received that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter.
But Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris says it is unclear if that had anything to do with why 20-year-old Wes Rowley set the wildfire and then shot at firefighters who responded. He adds that Rowley had no criminal record and left no manifesto. Rowley shot himself to death after a gun battle with deputies. Frustration over contract talks has emergency medical workers for Multicare hitting the picket line in Parkland. More from KIRO's 7 TV's Renji Sinha.
These picketers are taking this moment leading up to the 4th of July to hold a 5-day strike.
I have worked the last 3 4th of Julys here. We always have trauma. It always has to have you function at your top skill level. And at this point, we don't know the caliber of the employees that they have brought in to replace us.
The union representing these workers only certified their union in May of 2024. And since then, the workers say Multicare has been engaged in unfair labor practices.
Multicare says it is negotiating in good faith, adding it does not anticipate any disruption of patient care. Starting today, another toll hike is in effect at Seattle's downtown 99 tunnel. The 3% rate increase goes up 5 cents during non-peak and morning hours. During peak hours, it goes up 10 cents. The money goes to construction and maintenance. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It's 73 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday, July 1st. It is the first of the month. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning, G. Man, we went so heavy in that first hour.
We went heavy.
We went
I'm
really,
tired.
really heavy. And just in case, you heard the breaking news that the Senate has passed President Trump's big, beautiful bill. It now goes back to the House. And one of our listeners was saying, well, when do these things go into effect? I just saw that the House GOP wants to pass this bill by July 4th. So we will have a better idea if there's any amendments and that kind of thing before it is passed. So we will try to make sure that you are up to date on everything. It's huge, though. I mean, I just feel like we can only touch the surface.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to just be seeing what impacts, once they start rolling out. And, obviously we're a little concerned.
The Gee and Ursula Show listeners are just like Lillian. And what I mean by that is if Lillian loves food.
Uh-huh.
The Gee and Ursula Show listeners love to talk about food.
Yes.
So coming up here in less than 10 minutes, we have somebody in studio. You like Caribbean dishes? You love that flavor? You love Island Soul? Well, the owner of Island Soul is in studio, and we're going to talk food. Matter of fact, there's some catfish in there. There's some macaroni and cheese. There's some collard greens. But Ursula, let's get to what's new at 10.
What's new at 10?
Well, we're going to talk about fish right now because there is a new fish in the e-commerce sea. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is not Amazon.
Wild Alaskan King! Wild Alaskan King!
Sound familiar?
Chef loves them.
Yes. Recently, Seahawks Super Bowl champ Jermaine Kearse was at Pike Place Market, not to sign autographs, but there he was tossing halibut. Why? Because the world-famous Pike Place Fish Market is now selling seafood, get this, on TikTok. Y'all know it's my favorite app. It's now a place where you can see the Pike Place vendors hawking fresh halibut on your phone screen. Welcome to shopping in 2025. A TikTok shop, in case you don't know this, launched just a couple of years ago, not even 2 years actually, and it is growing fast, especially here in the Seattle area, where TikTok now has 1,600 employees split between two towers. I just so happen to be down the street from Amazon headquarters, so yeah, that's a flex.
Yeah.
But I guess the question would be, would you buy fresh fish on TikTok? Would you buy anything from TikTok? Or are you sticking with Amazon Prime?
I mean, I have bought from Facebook. Matter of fact, the package that's coming in today. Oh, by the way, y'all, I made this purchase before I said on my freeze that I was talking about. But anyway, I got a package coming in today, and that came right from Facebook because I went right through Facebook. So it would make sense if I lived on TikTok like Ursula does. It would totally make sense that I would make purchases from TikTok.
Yeah.
So you could get Pike Place fish through TikTok?
Yeah, now.
And then how much is that fish?
Basically, the co-owner of Pike Place Fish Market, Ryan Reese, says, as soon as they did the TikTok live stream, the orders just started rolling in. Not from tourists at the market, though.
Yeah.
He says from folks who visited Seattle, fell in love with the fish, and then bought it online once they got home. And he says, you know what? This is a quote from him. He says, I'm pushing 50. I'm on TikTok, too. It's not just for the young'uns.
No, it's not. Ursula's taught us that. But wait a minute. Hold on, Ursula. You are hiding the good stuff.
Yes.
People are buying.
Yes.
How much they paying?
They're paying a lot, but I know that Chef did the breakdown because I heard someone talking about $100 this, $100. What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, I assume if I'm going to be buying something on TikTok, it's going to be a little bit of a markup. But Pike Place Fish, just a heads up, though it's shown in all the NFL games, the guys throwing the fish, that is not the cheapest place to get it.
Oh, no.
For example, if you would like to buy some nice Alaska Copper River King salmon right now, some filet, that'll cost you $120 a pound.
But that's Copper River.
Oh, yeah, it's Copper River, it's worth the price of gold.
Wait. Ursula, stop right there. Did you just say, but it's Copper River?
Yeah. Do you know all the hype that goes into Copper River? Do you know how many times Alaska Airlines talks about Copper River salmon coming in and being flown in?
So you okay buying the first class of fish? Huh? You okay paying $120 a pound?
If you really wanted Copper River and you wanted the experience of buying it from Pike Place Market and seeing the fish fly, then you're that person who's willing to pay that. I'm cheap.
Can I ask all my people out here, what is the difference? Matter of fact, in about a few minutes, we're going to ask someone who knows about cooking. What is the difference between a Copper River salmon and it's just a simple farm raised?
Okay, I do know that. And chef,
wait. Is there a big difference
There's
in
a
taste?
huge difference.
There's 100%.
Yes, it's very buttery, right? It's very.
Yeah, the farm raised salmon has a very high oil content too, but they're fed pellets, man. So it's not a complex flavor. The king salmon from either Troll Cod or Yukon or Copper River is a much richer flavor, has more of the omega-3s, omega-6s.
So it's a $90 a pound difference, yes?
I would never buy it there. I mean, it's at other places for much less expensive. But if you wanted to just get regular king salmon there, I think it's like $56 a pound.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Scott in Auburn said Copper River is the Gucci of salmon.
It absolutely is. And who buys Gucci around here? That's not me. So if you were
just wondering.
Yukon River is a little better.
Okay, but just so you know, the thing that I have found on TikTok Shop, if you're buying clothing on TikTok Shop,
what'd you find out?
Be warned, because it's even worse than what clothing comes from Amazon.
Really?
I mean, they make it look so good, and then it comes. I have 3 things that I need to return. They make it look so good, and then the material is cheap and it's awful, and so just buyer beware.
Okay, you still staying on the same theme of food?
Yes.
Come on now.
Because if you've ever stood in line for a pink box full of sugar and just a ton of calories, whether it's in Portland or on Capitol Hill in Seattle, then you know exactly what is coming to Bellevue. Okay, think about it. Pink box full of calories. We're talking about Voodoo Doughnuts. So the company has just announced plans to open a new location on Main Street in downtown Bellevue, and they're going to be bringing their over-the-top menu to the east side now. We're talking, okay, if you haven't been to Voodoo Doughnuts, we're talking about more than 40 different varieties. Bacon maple bar, the Voodoo doll, which is a donut with a raspberry jelly filling and a pretzel steak through the heart.
Right.
Not too subtle there.
Okay.
The Memphis Mafia, which is this gigantic fritter packed with banana chunks and cinnamon and drizzled with peanut butter, chocolate, and peanuts. And the company says they're moving to Bellevue because Bellevue has great energy, so it made it a natural next step.
Ursula, can I unleash for a sec?
Yes. About Bellevue or Voodoo Doughnuts?
About Voodoo Doughnuts. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Voodoo Doughnuts is overrated. As a matter of fact, Voodoo Doughnuts is the BBL of donuts. And what I mean by the BBL of donuts is us Gen X and baby boomers, we want the real thing. We don't want the BBL donut. We want the maple bar. We want the original glazed donut.
Want to go back to the basics.
Don't want the fancies. We don't want it plumped here, not supposed to be plumped there. Voodoo Doughnuts is the BBL of donuts.
Okay, for
Give
people
me
who don't
the
know,
original.
People who don't know what BBL is, what are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Oh, the Brazilian butt lift?
Yes.
Y'all don't know the BBL. The makeovers that folks
so
be
you're
getting.
saying it's over the top.
It's over the top. And the original players don't want that. We want you bring them in. Ursula, when you come in, you bring us the maple bars.
That's from Donut Factory in the U District.
Now.
And they are really good at the basics. But I have been known to stand in line at Voodoo Doughnuts. I have yet to go someplace with a box of Voodoo Doughnuts where people are like, "Ew." They get excited about it.
Ursula, no. Voodoo Doughnuts are food. It's food made for Instagram and social media. Like, I don't want Captain Crunch on my donut. The bacon on the maple bar.
It's
highly overrated. It is like stoner food that has become corporatized and is now like,
food?
Oh, seriously. Like, what did you say was in the what was the fritter? Was it banana drizzled peanut butter?
Yes, it's like for Elvis Presley style.
Let me tell y'all something.
Come on.
Let me tell y'all something. When you talk about,
I thought you did not partake.
Ursula, Voodoo Doughnuts knew to go to Bellevue. You feel me? They know not to come to Tacoma. In Tacoma, we bought them donuts. Shout out to Helen's on 56 and Portland Ave. Shout out to Dockside Donuts. Y'all know about Dockside. Voodoo couldn't last down there because it's original down there. But you can go to Bellevue and be all fancy and go to the nice restaurants, Voodoo, and ooh, we want donuts. Y'all got carb-free donuts at Voodoo. You got stuff that's gluten-free.
Wait.
We want the stuff. We want the stuff that as soon as you smell it, we get fat in a matter of 5 minutes.
I don't remember a carb-free donut anywhere close to Voodoo Donuts.
I'm making that up.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But can I get you to say it? Voodoo Donuts is overrated. You can't say it?
No. I think it's great. And I'm happy for Bellevue. Bellevue's late night scene is getting to be pretty hip, it sounds like.
It is. It is. And I'm going to tell you right now, you didn't really have a good night if you're eating Voodoo Donuts. You had a good night if you go have some Taco Bell, if you go have some Jack in the Box. That's how you know what kind of nights you had. Or you get some.
Someone says they're moving to Bellevue because the majority of people in Bellevue can afford overhyped donuts. Man,
for $8.
I am in the losing side of this argument.
Right.
Hey, I'm all for Voodoo Donuts and good for Bellevue.
But speaking of that, we got some people here right now that's in studio that can better help us understand. He is the owner of Island Soul, a place that has the best Caribbean dishes with French touches in a dramatic way. He joins us right now. Big listener of the show, by the way, Ursula.
Big listener.
Theo Martin. Theo, hi, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
You see how I have to calm Ursula down on this show. You see that, right, Theo?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you see right through it. Talking about BBLs while we're talking about food.
Theo, we're glad to have you here. We're going to be talking about your restaurant a lot. Thank you a lot for bringing some food here. But more importantly, one of the topics that Ursula and I have been talking about a lot is how hard it is for small businesses here in the city of Seattle. You have run your business now for 25 years. Can you speak to that conversation? What is going on with you and other owners when it comes to owning a restaurant?
Well, thank you for having me. It's excited to be here. But yeah, the good question. And I have to say it has been a change. Even when listening to you guys earlier talking about TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Here we're throwing fish, and I have been down there. All of us been down there many times. But now to see it on TikTok offering to sell, and they made the price go up. It has changed. The market for restaurants has changed, and you have to know exactly now quickly how to be part of that change.
Okay, well, give us some specifics. When you say, like, when you got into this business, how has it changed, and what is the most challenging thing for you right now?
When I first got in, I took over my father's restaurant. It was friends, family, and community. Everyone came in, everyone ordered, everyone sat down, you enjoyed everyone's company. Now it's turned to, I call it a show.
Oh.
When I see TikTok, and I'm stuck too. I love TikTok. I'll be straight up. I love TikTok.
See?
And I'll go, oh, look at this restaurant.
Yes.
I put it in my calendar and go to that restaurant, and I walk in, and I'm the only one there.
Oh.
So sometimes I'm like, okay,
what happened?
What
It
happened?
got overhyped.
It got overhyped. But I was excited to go. It got me out the door. It got me in their door, I should say. And I'm like, well, is that a way I need to market my restaurant now?
But you can't have a steady clientele if you don't have good food to offer, right?
Yeah,
so if
you
they're
said
not
that right there.
If you bring people in, you got to have something to match the excitement.
You got to keep them there.
Yes.
So we got the keeper.
Yes.
But now you said small business.
Yes.
What are we doing? Some
Yes.
of us just, at my age, TikTok was, even though I enjoy it, I'm not on it. Other people are putting me on it, blessing.
Yes.
But it makes me kind of wake up now and go, do I need to be on TikTok just to get them in? Because once I get the hook out there, I'll get you in and I'll feed you.
Yes.
Make you happy. We got the soul.
I've tasted. We went to an event recently, and your food is absolutely delicious. Okay, so what things in terms of government, local government, what has made it hard for you as a small business owner?
It's always surprises when you find out what you cannot do, what you got to charge extra for. I mean, we go back from the sugar tax to straws. to plastic and what you can't use, just so they change, things change and you have to adapt overnight. The joke is if they say something they're getting rid of, go buy it all out and then do the grandfather. And I had lots of it in my back room, so I could still use it. And then now
still have plastic straws.
Well, no, because I found out now people come in and they tell on you. Oh, yeah. Customers will come in and say, you're not supposed to be using this. And you smile and go, well, I had a few in the back stock. Well, it's against the law to have that. Yeah. And you respond and smile and pull it from their table.
By the way, you're hearing the voice of Theo Martin. He is the owner of Island Soul over there in Columbia City, there in the Rainier area. Now, you said something before we got on the show. You said that running your business today is harder now, even through the 2008 with the recession, even through COVID. You're saying right now, in all the 25 years that you've been in business, right now, today, it is absolutely the hardest.
It's the hardest. It's definitely the hardest. And I think a lot of it has to do with what we're talking about, the changes. And if you haven't adapted to it, the labor, you have to adapt to that.
The increase in minimum wage.
The increase of food costs. I mean, we're all living in the same world, so we're all dealing with it. But as a restaurant and all business, but I definitely know for us, we have to stop, look at who's in the door, look at our watch and go, okay, in the next hour, what's going to happen? Am I going to send somebody home?
Oh, wow.
Do I need to send an employee home? Because I'm counting the minutes. I used to count the days. Now I'm counting the minutes. And years ago, I didn't count anything.
Yeah. COVID changed that too.
COVID changed that too. So, when I see companies, a lot of restaurants going out of business, the first thing that comes to mind is I almost sure they couldn't handle, it's like the owner trying to do it all. He's the cook, he's the dishwasher, and he's the server.
I want to ask this because going back to and correct me if I'm wrong, going back to your father's business, it was Junkins Barbecue.
Yes.
Right? Back in the day.
Yes,
it was
sir.
Junkins Barbecue. And then, of course, you, Island Soul, you've been around for a long time. But your customer base has changed. Because gentrification happened. So the people, the grandmas and the aunties and uncles and all of them that were coming and religiously coming to your food no longer live in that area because they've been priced out.
Yes. And that's what you said. That's been a big change. We talked about earlier. What has been the change in the restaurant? It has been the customer. And it's beautiful to see I put my son in charge now, my daughter in charge, because they have a different way of running a business. They tell me things that I go, oh, and
And what's that? Give us an example to where your son and daughter has done one or two things that made you say, oh.
Karaoke for one.
Wait, hold up. You have karaoke?
Every Thursday.
Get out. Okay, I'm there.
Are you serious?
From 9, this is the kicker, 9 till 1 in the morning on a Thursday. And
It's poppin'?
You know what?
Okay.
I told you. Thursday is the new Saturday.
Because a lot of people still working from home on Fridays.
Thursday is so you implemented karaoke.
Yes.
And
that has I would have never done it. Just say it like that. My son was like, Dad.
You got to change. You got to reinvent yourself.
You got to reinvent yourself. That's where we're at right now. He even said, I'll go buy the equipment. Because every time he said, Dad, where's the equipment? I'm like, don't they got their own? He's like, Dad, I'm going to go get the equipment.
Okay, so somebody's listening right now. Island Soul is over in Columbia City. Give us 1 or 2 reasons why we need to come by there.
Well, first, we're family owned. We're a third generation, and we're not going nowhere. We are bringing a product that when you eat it, you will smile and bring a friend tomorrow. It's love, and it's from the heart, and it's a lot of fun in Columbia City. Columbia City is the new...
It is so cute over there.
It is nice. I mean, I've been there 20 years.
Yes.
And I could tell you every year, I just smile at the growth, the energy that's around there. You almost feel like every time I'm closed, I cry because I'm thinking, wow, look at all these people walking around. What am I doing? Open up.
Someone mentioned rum cake.
Oh, yes, rum pound.
Island
Yes,
Daryl in Kent says Island Soul is amazing food. Need that rum cake.
Yes, sir. Come get them oxtail and the catfish.
You got to get that jerk chicken in there
Get that
too?
jerk. Yes, sir.
See,
and a whole snapper with escovitch.
Oh,
some fried plantains and tostones. Oh, I'm getting hungry talking.
All right. Well, thank you,
Blessing.
Theo.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate you.
Appreciate
Theo
you.
Martin, Island Soul. We got to get on over there. Maybe Ursula will pay for us all to go there one day. Karaoke on a Thursday night, 9 o'clock. I'm in the bed. Hey, coming up next scenario. Oh, not scenarios. We will talk about something else. Look, I don't have a news boss open, so I don't remember what we're talking about.
We're going to be talking about
Costco
Lululemon versus Lululemon.
Oh, next, Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get 2 select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
Plumbing emergency? Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
For most people, joint pain happens gradually. Craig's case is a little different.
I was in a cyclocross race, which is a bicycle race, and I ran into a tree, and I tore my labrum in my shoulder.
Craig had been through surgery before and decided this time to try stem cell therapy instead.
You're talking about 2 or 3 minutes of discomfort versus a surgery where you're talking about painkillers for a week. It's not even comparable.
He went to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
I like him because he's a sports guy, so he gets it. He gets admits that, you're not ready to be done. Some doctors will be like, you need to take it easy. And he's like, okay, what do we need to do to get you back where you want to be?
And how are you now?
I'm back to lifting. I can ride 5,000-6,000 miles a year.
You just don't back down, do you?
Not at all. Hopefully I'll be doing this when I'm in my 70s.
So if you're not done yet, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Book your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
With Clear Choice dental implants, one day can make the difference between hiding your smile and saying cheese. Thanks to our dental implant experts, our one-day teeth transformation culminates in your Clear Choice Day, the day when you start loving your smile again. Visit clearchoice.com or call 888-SMILE-05 to schedule your free consultation today. And let us help Seattle start smiling again.
Majority qualify for same-day dental implants after doctor recommendation. Offices owned by Dr. Alfonso Pinheiro.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
President Trump reacting to the U.S. Senate passing his budget. The vote was tied 50-50. Vice President J.D. Vance delivering the winning vote. CBS's Caitlin Huey Burns on what's in Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill.
Extending the Trump tax cuts, the ones that were originally passed in 2017, extending those. Creating new tax cuts. No federal tax on tips. No federal tax on overtime pay. Also increasing money for immigration enforcement, another key priority from the president.
But critics say the budget reduces spending on Medicaid and SNAP food support, and it raises the national debt. The bill now goes back to the House for reconciliation. Earlier, the president visited a new immigrant detention center in Florida's Everglades.
It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon.
A Washington State University graduate student is expected to plead guilty tomorrow to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. The family of one of those students, Kaylee Consalves, is furious, posting on social media that the state of Idaho has failed them. Earlier, Kaylee's dad told News Nation the only justice would be the death penalty.
Justice is when you leave the planet and the whole world is able to rejoice and be glad that you are not there.
Investigators confirmed the person who shot and killed 2 firefighters responding to a wildfire in northern Idaho was Wes Rowley, a 20-year-old man who'd been living in his car in Coeur d'Alene. He left no manifesto and had no criminal record. The Kootenai County Sheriff says Rowley killed himself at the scene. Investigators are working to determine what sparked a fire that badly damaged a church in Auburn this week. More from KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn.
The pain of the loss at All Saints Lutheran Church was evident in the hours after flames ravaged the building. Laura Hughes lives across Military Road in sight of the church.
There's like 12 different groups that meet there.
South King Fire says initial reports were of a pretty minor fire.
The first 2 crews arrived on scene to discover a trailer behind a church that was actually fully involved.
Captain Brad Cheney says it was immediately upgraded to a working commercial fire to bring in more resources.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 429 points. NASDAQ is down 129. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Parkland on State Route 512, west of Canyon Road, equipment has arrived to get a logging truck upright again and clear the logs from the road. You're still crawling from Waller Road to South Meridian because of that crash. Hey, your backup's gone on State Route 16 near Port Orchard. It had been jammed earlier due to a crash on State Route 3. Traffic brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It's 73 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning, July 1st. Cannot believe it. Hey, coming up in about 15 minutes, we are going to solve other people's problems and scenarios. But right now, let's talk about what is going on with Lululemon and Costco. You know that saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lululemon says not so much. Okay. And the uber popular athleisure giant is now suing Costco, accusing the company of selling confusingly similar knockoffs of its signature apparel. deal. So this was a federal complaint that was filed in California, and Lululemon is claiming that Costco's jackets, their hoodies, and men's stretch pants are so close to the real thing that shoppers are mistaking them for authentic Lululemon products, or even worse, buying them on purpose because they look like Lululemon. So the lawsuit is calling out specific items. I thought it was going to be the leggings because I was foolish enough to buy a Lululemon leggings for this outrageous price. But they're calling out specific items sold under brands like Danskin, Jockey, and Kirkland brand, saying that they mimic the company's popular scuba hoodies, their Define jackets, and their ABC pants. If you take a look, and you've got a list of the prices.
List. I got the list.
Bring us through the prices.
So, scuba hoodie. Now, bro, Ursula, your brand and don't need no scuba hoodie. Lululemon scuba hoodies retail for $118. Well, Costco's version of that, they got the scuba full zip, the Daskin half zip hoodie, between $8 and $20. Yeah. Right? Then they also have the Lululemon Define jacket, which retails for $128. Well, Costco and them, between $8 and $20.
And right now, if you're on YouTube, we're showing, so we've got some
chef,
video. We're putting some pictures up right now so you can take a look and you can see if there is a difference and if you're willing to.
This ain't what I signed up for. I thought this segment was going to be about something else. I thought we was talking leggings.
Yeah.
I thought we was talking. Ursula, I did not come back into this studio to talk about men's pants.
And hoodies.
Hoodies.
Well, here's the thing. Because we only were reacting initially to the headline and not the actual story when we were holding our show meeting, we thought it was going to be all about. And I said, let's do a side-by-side comparison. And Gee suddenly had a bounce in his step saying, oh, I get to do a play-by-play on side-by-side comparisons of Lululemon leggings versus Costco leggings. Well, they're not part of the lawsuit. And you know that the Gee and Ursula show, if anything, wants to be as accurate as possible.
Right.
So we're not going to show pictures of women in leggings and do a comparison because that's not the subject of this lawsuit right now.
Right. It's not the subject, but I want to just point out there's a reason why the leggings are not a subject of the lawsuit, and here's why. Lululemon pants and leggings, let me just say that those things are probably the most miracle piece of leggings ever made in the world. Lululemon leggings, if you only paid $100, I think they were for about $750.
They're more than $100. Well, the ones I bought, and this was actually several years ago. I bought them while I was visiting Southern California.
Right.
And that's you see a lot of Lululemon leggings, and so I did pay the big sum to get these leggings. And yeah, they kind of go.
Right. So make that sound again. That's how Lululemon. Now,
but
if you get Costco leggings, they go.
If you get dupes that go. But you get them for 1/5 the price.
Wait a minute, Ursula. When you get leggings, you want the sound to be what?
You got to be careful with the dupes and how many times you wash them too, because sometimes the fabric starts getting a little bit thin, and you might not be aware of that when you're out in public. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about people bending over wearing the leggings and what can be seen, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, here's my question though for all of you, because dupes are a thing. I mean, Lululemon. I'm siding with Costco on this one.
You are?
Because I don't think people are buying the if you buy Lululemon leggings, you're buying it in large part not just because it really sucks you in, but also because people know, oh, that person's wearing Lululemon and they've paid a fortune for them.
Can I just tell you? I promise you.
Yes.
Sweeping statement. I promise you, 90%, 99% of people do not care about the brand of those leggings. Sweeping statement. I promise you. I never had to hold me in a text. Hey, man, you should have seen the Lululemon. They don't care about that.
You're talking about men don't care.
I didn't want to say it that way.
Yeah, no.
Women I want to be too obvious.
There are
women don't care either.
There are articles of clothing that you care that it has a Gee, of all people, you understand this. You wear brand names. I'm the one who's going to wear the dupe.
But I'm just saying, on the leggings specifically
I
conversation,
understand what you're
nobody cares about the brand.
No, you're saying no men care. If you look good, that's what you're saying. But
say we care more about the zip than
Yes.
anything else. Okay,
that is a sweeping statement because women also care. I mean, again, I just say, I think that they're dupes, whether it's dupes of perfume. Like you can buy a $350 bottle of perfume, but now there are 18 different dupes of that particular one.
Right.
Like either you're going to pay the big bucks and know that you've got the original, or these knockoffs. I think the world of knockoffs. I mean, let's face it.
I'm speaking for.
It's kind of hard. It's hard to rein it back in.
I'm speaking for Gen X.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick. Does Gen Z care about the
name
logo
brand?
or the name brand?
I don't think so these days. I think a dupe is acceptable, you know. You can find a bargain and you can work it off and make it look like the real thing. Just do it. You do your thing.
Look at this. Chelsea and Sumner says, Urs. I love that she calls me Urs. Old Navy activewear is as zippy as Lulu.
Oh.
I know what she's talking about. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, for me, it's all about the fit. It's not about the name brand.
Before we go to break, I just want y'all to know, Ursula used to tell people, or ask people, where has her career gone? And you guys are hearing Ursula make sound effects when it comes to leggings. Don't blame that on me.
Well,
Ursula has changed.
We
She's
are a
sitting
sound medium. And for people who aren't on YouTube looking at the pictures, I'm trying to get you a chance to visualize using my sound effects.
All right, coming up next, we got scenarios. We'll have fun with that next. Gee and Ursula.
You listen to Charlie and Manda on Seattle's Morning News every morning. What do they listen to every afternoon?
I listen to John all the time when I'm driving home, driving my kids around.
I also listen to the John Curley Show. Even by the end of the day, I still like to keep my brain active, and he's very good at doing that.
John, first of all, is hilarious. I never know where this dude is coming from.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute with KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
It's G. Scott here to remind everyone to have a safe Independence Day. DUI patrols are in effect and DUI rates are higher around the holidays. If you're pulled over for DUI, contact DUI Heroes immediately at 1-800-DUI-HERO, available 24/7. Jonathan and his team understand good people make mistakes. They recognize the human being behind the charge and treat them the way we all want to be treated. DUIHeroes.com. 1-800-DUI-HERO, your DUI defense specialist.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandswimspasale.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
With over 20 new home communities throughout the Puget Sound area, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. Learn more at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope. Powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to ImmunoHeroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Hey, coming up at 11 o'clock, we will bring on a mother whose son was murdered 5 years ago. She will join the Gee and Ursula Show coming up at 11 o'clock. But right now, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I got married 5 years ago. She broke off the engagement 6 weeks before their wedding and completely broke his heart. He married me 6 months later, and I knew I was the rebound relationship. I also knew my husband didn't love me as much as I loved him. He's still at least half in love with the woman before me. Last night, I was on the computer. Oh, here we go. Last night, I was on the computer, and an email arrived from his former fiance. She apologized, said it was the biggest mistake of her life, and asked to meet in person. I wrote back, not interested, and signed my husband's name. Then I deleted the message and moved her email address to blocked. That's right. Block the email. Now I am overcome with guilt. I know I shouldn't have read the email and certainly should not have responded as him. But I have a horrible feeling that if my husband had seen it, he would have left me for her. I don't know what to do. Should I tell him or hope he never finds out? 888-973-5476. Ursula, you're up to bat first.
Okay.
Are you stuck?
I'm looking at the lesser of the evils. Yeah, I know that it would be easy to say, oh, just pretend that never happened. But no, it's eating at you, and it opened up an insecurity that you already have, that you went into this marriage knowing that he wasn't fully out of his last relationship, and you are the rebound, as you said. There was a imbalance in terms of how much you loved him versus how much he feels about you, and you have a fear that he would have reacted and gone back to the other woman. That's not a way to have a relationship. So I would fess up, I would be honest, and I would say, this is how I feel, blah, 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 blah. Just apologize for doing something that you shouldn't have done. Explain why you did it, and then see where the chips fall. I mean, it'll force you to have that conversation with him. Like, were you just the rebound? If you were just the rebound, is it worth a relationship that continues? And how do you grow and how do you overcome that? Is it something that can be... I mean, I know of people who've been in rebound relationships that actually end up working. But I've also known people who are the rebound and it ended miserable. So you need to have that conversation is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Why does she have to give all this reasonable advice? I mean, that's like genuine, real advice.
That is real advice.
Yeah, but
that's what
I don't know.
This segment is.
Also, well, from you, not from me and G. I don't know. All's fair in love and war, man. Delete that stuff. Block him. block the ex. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're going to be paranoid the rest of your life, but you don't have to tell him.
Paranoid the rest of your life? If you have that level of insecurity in your relationship and think the only reason you are together is because you were a rebound, I think you're going to need therapy down the line. I think you need therapy right now. Relationship therapy.
Go to therapy. Feel better about yourself.
Hey.
Block her.
Hey, I was chef. Listen, she knew she was a rebound. Sometimes you be in that rebound relationship and you know I got to continue to box out. Go grab the rebound and do the right things. And sometimes you want to do what you got to do to make this person love you more than they love them. So right now you got to hurt. So look, hide that email. I love how you blocked her. Now every time she can't get in touch with your boo. And now, what you mean is dishonesty?
That's dishonesty.
Oopsie. Anyway, so you blocked him, right? And now you have an opportunity to win that love of that significant other. You got time on your hands. Now, if you don't feel a certain shift in the matter of 6 months to a year, then you might need to go ahead and walk yourself. But until then, great job signing off saying, I'm not interested, and blocking them, Ursula.
Huh.
Ursula
so
wants no
you're
part of
basically encouraging lying, which is what I would never encourage.
It's not really a lie.
Let me guess.
It's kind of
want to call it a white lie?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You could say going behind the back a little bit.
It's no different than Santa Claus. What do you got there?
Well, I think the cat's out of the bag at this point. If he can't find the emails or any sort of contact with this other woman, he knows she's the only other one who can touch this PC of this and find this messages. You know he'll be raising some questions about what you've been up to on there, and eventually, from what I'm hearing, the pressure's going to be too much for her, and she's just going to be asking what's going on with this online rendezvous he's partaking in. Could be nothing, and she could be over-exaggerating, but I think she did go to drastic measures in this one.
That is a good song. Our man Jason in Buckley says, I married Kay. I'm assuming Kay is your wife, Jason. I married Kay when I was the rebound. Been 23 great years.
Congratulations. See, that's wonderful.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody listen right now. You just driving. You listen to the Gee and Ursula show, or you may be at work. Tell the truth. There was a time you was in that rebound phase, but you worked harder and you won that love. Sometimes you know. By the way, there's a slim chance that rebound relationships work. Did they make it? Most of the time they don't.
Oh, man.
But if at first you don't succeed, you dust yourself off and try again.
Boy, we got some splits here on scenarios. 206 says, honesty is always the best policy in a relationship. Don't listen to G. And then there's 206 who says, I'm with G and Chef on this one. The woman had no business contacting her ex.
Oh, Jason said his wife is Karen. Shout out to Karen. Karen been with her man for 23 years. He was the rebound, but she said, nope, my man Jason worked hard for Karen. Yes. Yep. All right, y'all. All right, let's switch gears. We've had enough fun, but let's get serious now. Hey, coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, we will have our next guest will be a mother whose son was murdered 5 years ago.
And she reached out to us because we were talking about the death penalty.
Yes, we were.
Involving the 4 murders in Idaho.
Yep, we do that.
And so, yeah, so we'll hear from her next.
Next, Gee Ursula.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with a Mariners fireworks show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party this Thursday, presented by T-Mobile.
Fly ball right field. Sailing back. Gone! Legend Cal Raleigh.
Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on Friday and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on Saturday. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Call for details.
Dayandnight.net. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This
is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Senate narrowly passed President Trump's massive tax and spending bill.
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone. And I think it's going to go very nicely in the House.
CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns on Capitol Hill reports its fate in the House is far from certain.
This is essentially the president's agenda in legislative form. This is extending the Trump tax cuts, the ones that were originally passed in 2017, extending those, creating new tax cuts, no federal tax on tips, no federal tax on overtime pay. Those are new provisions. Also increasing money for immigration enforcement, another key priority from the president. That's also in this bill. But those cuts had to come from somewhere, and those cuts have been made to various entitlement programs, including to Medicaid.
President Trump visited a new migrant detention center in the Florida swamps today, where he touted its secure location.
I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long.
CBS's Manuel Bajorquez with some details of the new facility.
Heavy-duty tents and trailers now dot the remote facility that had been mostly used for pilot training. Designated now to become the nation's newest migrant detention center, officials say could house up to 5,000 detainees. The isolated outdoor facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz is surrounded by dangerous wildlife, oppressive heat, and raises alarms with immigration advocates over due process concerns.
Critics call the facility inhumane. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said today that the Fed would likely have cut interest rates earlier this year if not for Trump's tariffs.
In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs.
President Trump has repeatedly called on Powell to lower interest rates. It'll cost you more to celebrate July 4th, as Deborah Rodriguez reports.
Grilling burgers for the 4th? The ground beef will cost you more than ever. The American Farm Bureau Federation estimates the retail price has jumped by more than $6.60 a pound. The group blames drought, high grain prices, and inflation for a historically low cattle supply and surging demand for beef. Throw in cheese to melt on top, chicken, potato salad, plus some pork and beans, and the cost of a 10-person cookout will be about $70. And that doesn't include drinks, dessert, or fireworks. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
On Wall Street, the Dow is rallying up 451 points. The S&P 500 is flat today. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
An accused quadruple killer poised to plead guilty. We're in Moscow with the story, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Parkland, equipment is working to get a logging truck upright again and clear the logs from State Route 512 west of Canyon Park. You are crawling from Waller Road to South Meridian. A disabled vehicle's been cleared from I-5 southbound to DuPont, but you are crawling along JBLM. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia, almost an hour and 10 minutes. That's 35 minutes longer than usual. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A procession is underway honoring two firefighters fatally shot as they responded to a wildfire in northern Idaho Sunday. The flag-draped caskets of Frank Harwood and John Morrison can be seen through the windows of the vehicles that are carrying their bodies from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office to a funeral chapel in Coeur d'Alene. A third firefighter remains in critical but stable condition. Investigators say it's still unclear why 20-year-old Wes Rowley ambushed them. Rowley killed himself at the scene. The man accused of stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students is expected to plead guilty tomorrow. In exchange, Brian Kohberger avoids the death penalty. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more from Moscow.
A small memorial with candles now sits in front of the murder scene. The house Kohberger entered, where he killed 4 students, according to prosecutors, was demolished a year later. People in this college town were hoping for the death penalty.
I feel like he should have gotten the death penalty. So, I mean, I feel like that's
really frustrating.
Koberger is expected to enter his guilty plea Wednesday in court. Prosecutors say he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. In Moscow, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The family of one of the victims, Kaylee Gonzalez, is expressing outrage. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss is reading what they posted on social media.
The justice system was created to serve and protect, not to re-traumatize grieving families. And yet, time and time again, we find ourselves blindsided, unheard, and unsupported. This last-minute plea deal feels less like an act of justice and more like an afterthought.
Koberger expected to enter his plea again tomorrow. Frontline medical workers walk off the job at Multicare in Parkland. Emergency department employees are frustrated over contract talks and they're claiming labor violations, as KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha reports.
The strike was seen as a last resort, and the workers say having it go into a holiday where emergency calls add up wasn't planned.
The care isn't going to be there, which is very disheartening.
Staffing has also been an issue for these workers since the union says the staff levels dwindled from 120 to about 75 workers.
Multicare says it is negotiating in good faith and it does not anticipate any disruption to patient care. Boeing hires a new chief financial officer. Jay Malave is coming from Lockheed Martin, where he also served as CFO. He'll take over for Brian West next month. And unlike West, Boeing says Malave will live here in Seattle. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It's 75 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday to all of you. It is July 1st. We're grateful that you listen to the show. Ursula, good morning to you.
Good morning. You got all serious all of a sudden. And in full transparency, we've been doing a lot of eating in the last few minutes.
Yeah. Island Soul with their catfish, jerk chicken, macaroni and cheese. And I'd argue, I hope my wife isn't listening. I bet she is. Those greens are in competition with my wife's.
And that's high praise.
I mean,
yes.
Man.
Yes, for sure. Hey, coming up at 11:30, we are going to do Agree to Disagree. And we are going to talk about some of the things that our generation cares about when it comes to things around the home and what other generations say, we'll have a debate about that. What's important in your home?
Right.
The big island in the kitchen, or is it the bathroom off the main primary bedroom, et cetera, et cetera? What are the things that people care about and don't care about? We're going to have some fun since it is a holiday week, but we've got some serious business to get to as well. As always, you are invited to join us on our KIRO News Radio text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
And as you've been hearing on our show today, Brian Koberger, the man charged with the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, has now reached a plea deal which will allow him to avoid the death penalty. The families of the victims have expressed outrage. They were hoping for a jury trial in at least one case. The father has spoken out and has said that they think that Brian Koberger is getting it too easy. They felt like they were blindsided. And as we were discussing it in an earlier part of our show, we had someone listen and text us, and we thought it would be important to get her perspective. And one of the things we want to find out is, what do families of murder victims go through as they process their grief and have to grapple with the concept of what is justice for their loved one? So joining us now on the Gee and Ursula Show is Pepper Fox, whose son Jason was murdered 5 years ago. Good morning, Pepper.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. And let's get right to you heard the news this morning. You heard the feelings of the family upon learning that Brian Koberger will likely not get the death penalty. Did it bring back memories for you?
Absolutely. I feel like it's a slap in the face to the parents. in my own experience, I've come to figure that murder is supposed to be the ultimate crime. There's no fixing it or taking it back, and I feel like that human life at this point really doesn't have any value. In my case, there was 4 people that were actually convicted. It was a group of 24 people, and one person got 14 months time served. Another one got 3.5 years for telling on the others. And he even stated to Jason in text messages that it wouldn't be the first time he's dug a hole, And the one that got immunity, she happened to be the gravedigger for Ponderay County, and she glorifies in death and all this, and she's been going around terrorizing the community, saying that she got away with it once and she'll get away with it again, and the wrong message has been given, by the convictions that I got. It's basically telling them they can do whatever they want. They'll get immunity or very little time. But one guy got 18 years, and another one, he was supposed to receive 10 years, but he ended up getting 28 years because he got aggressive with the judge. And it's like, you wouldn't have given him 28 years anyway. But Jason was 19 years old. He was 2 weeks away from a full scholarship to become a nurse. He had just come out to his friends. And when he told me, I was excited because I was like, awesome. He gets to, I finally get to see him transform into the person he's supposed to be. He loves and accepts himself. And his friends, they thought something else. They tricked him. They said, oh, we want to throw you a goodbye party. And so he shows up at the property with $85 worth of food, and he gets out of the car and they jump him.
Pepper.
And yeah.
Really, really quick, because some of our listeners probably don't know the story. So real quick, your son had when you say come out, had came out and letting everybody know,
right,
that he was gay. That he was gay. So your son comes out letting everyone know that he's gay, and so he thought that he was showing up for a celebration of this with $85 in food, correct?
Yes, as a goodbye party because he was leaving for college.
Mm-hmm.
And so but they 6 guys jumped him, tied his hands behind his back, and then they proceeded to beat him for 2.5 hours before trying to bury him alive. When the guys had thrown Jason into the grave, they turned their backs on it, and Jason was able to get up to his feet, which is really hard when you still have your hands tied behind your back. Mm. And he was able to, because there was an incline into the grave, because it was because of the way it was dug. And he was able to run out of the grave, and he started running for the tree line where Highway 2 was, and he tripped and he fell. And the girl that got him immunity, the gravedigger of Ponderay County, she was in an excavator, and she ran over and she crushed him with the bucket of the excavator.
Oh my goodness!
And it's just a matter of like all of the pain and everything that Jason went through for her to get immunity, keep it after she's already violated it, and then now it's terrorizing the community. And she's even posted on my son's memorial page it was a little picture of a cartoon ghost that says, if you love me, you'll help me hide a body. And she posted that on the memorial, the anniversary of his death.
Oh, we are so sorry. And I would imagine that hearing the news of Brian Koberger, it brings up a lot of the pain that you have. We're trying to understand because there is obviously this big debate about whether the death penalty should exist. It doesn't exist here in the state of Washington right now because of some decisions that were made. But what happened in Idaho and the decision by the prosecutor not to go for the death penalty and to agree to life in prison as a sentence. Why do you think, as the mother of someone who was murdered and who's had to go through this process, why do you think it is important to have, for example, the death penalty as an option?
I think that it'll make people think before they act, about, wow, is this really, worth it, my entire life. I mean, I understand that normal people might have ill thoughts, and psychopaths carry them out, but there's no reason to keep him on life in prison. He's taken 4 lives and given all of their parents a life sentence. He needs to be wiped off the planet. I seriously, like, murder. There's no room in this society for murderers. It needs to, the wrong in my case, the wrong message has been given. The message is you only get a few years for killing someone. And it's important to taxpayer dollars. Just get rid of them.
We are joined here by the mother of Jason Fox, who was murdered 5 years ago, and she joins the Gee and Ursula Show right now. One of the things that really stands out, and I want to ask you about, because there's a point in here, there's a reference being made to the fact that one of the one that was sentenced to 18 years, the one that got some of the most time, except for the other one that was assaulted the judge, but this person, they winked, waved, and smiled at your family. Tell us about that moment.
Yes, I was floored. I was absolutely floored. I had a previous run-in with him. I was throwing a protest because no one had been arrested, and I wanted people arrested because I knew who did it by the time I got to town. I remember that Newport, Washington is 300 miles from here on the Idaho border. Anyway, that guy, Riley Hillstead, he ended up seeing our protest, and he came running downstairs with a loaded AR-15 and started pointing it at the crowd. And that's when I got out of my truck, and I walked over to him unarmed and said, "You better put that down before you hurt yourself. I think you have a lot more to live for than I do." And he backed up between 2 of the vehicles and put it down. He was, a week later, he was arrested. But yeah, he all of these people, they do not feel bad for what they've done. They think they have done the right thing. They think that gay people should not exist. And I never held any of the parents accountable because all of these kids were between the ages of 24 and 30 years old. And so, after your child turns 18, you really don't have any, you don't really have any control over what they do. But, I ended up realizing when after inviting all the other parents out, because I figured they had lost their children too, right? That, and their reaction was, it's your fault and your child's fault for him being gay.
Oh, no.
In this area, because my son shouldn't be in jail for this, and I'm like, what? And so it was just, it's just been
very
trauma
painful.
just stacked on top of trauma on top of trauma. And, I hope he's having a horrible time in jail. 18 years isn't long enough. But I think that with several of these guys, they've murdered before, and they've explained that in text messages to Jason. And I think that once they get out, they're going to do it again.
Pepper, I'm sorry to. I can hear the tremendous amount of pain, understandably, in your voice, and this feeling of a lack of resolution, and you continuing to try to, find ways to find peace. And I'm just sorry, and I appreciate you sharing your son's story. And again, I know that a lot of people can hear in your voice the pain that you are continuing to feel, and we appreciate you joining us too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you allowing me to be on here today.
And take care. Thank you so much. Okay, we need to talk about another difficult story, also in Idaho, and it's been a top story this week. A procession is underway right now in Coeur d'Alene. Thousands are lining the street to honor fallen Fire Battalion Chiefs Frank Harwood and John Morrison ahead of their funerals. They were murdered in a weekend ambush, and our reporter, KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgartner, joins us live now with new details about the young man accused of starting that fire to lure fire crews in.
Yeah, new details coming out. I've been watching that procession over the last few minutes. Lots of tears there because I think everyone is just stunned by this heinous crime. Well, investigators believe that a homeless 20-year-old man is responsible. They're naming him as Wes Rowley. He's believed to have been living out of his car at the time. So when crews arrived to fight that fire on Sunday, they actually spoke with him and asked him to move his car so that they could do that firefight. But sheriffs say that that's when things escalated, where he pulled out a shotgun, started shooting at them, and then at one point actually climbed up into a tree for a better vantage point, so kind of like a sniper to continue shooting. So in total, 2 firefighters killed. Their names that you just mentioned. One was injured, still in the hospital. Rowley also shot and killed himself, so denying people answers about why. Here's what the local sheriff had to say.
We have not been able to find any manifesto. We have information that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter.
So aspired to be a firefighter, and no one really knows when that all changed.
Do we know how long he had been in town? I know they said that he was living currently in Arizona at some point, and then now he was in Idaho, allegedly to visit someone, his dad or something like that.
So reports are that he did have some family in the area and that he'd kind of moved around. There's a man that came out, said that they had been roommates in the area for a number of months, but he said that in recent months that things had spiraled with Rowley. I'm working to verify that myself. But the family, they actually put out a statement because they knew he was in the area, but they said, quote, "We do not understand why this happened or how this came about." So they are stunned as well.
Gwen, thank you. I appreciate it. We reported earlier, G, that in court documents involving the divorce mentioned that the father of this suspect, who has now taken his own life, had allegedly made threats to burn down the home. And so it sounded like there was a lot of tumult in his life. Not that that excuses anything. And unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot of the answers because he's not here to answer to those questions.
Thank you to Gwen for that reporting. Really appreciate it. I want to say this because going to what Gwen just said just now, you know, this alleged suspect is 20 years old, and something that Pepper Fox, who we just had on our show, she talked about how some of those that were convicted of killing her son, she talked about how they were over the age of 18. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because I've seen floating online like, well, the alleged suspect in Idaho, his parents, they're this, and this is their political leanings. What Pepper said a second ago is something that I agree with. As parents, number one, you do the best you can with your children. That's number one. Number two, go ahead.
Not everyone does, though. I mean, I'm sorry. The best that you can, yeah. I mean, but yes, keep going.
I mean, like, we could get subjective on that topic, but ideally, as parents, sometimes you try to do the best you can. Do you fall short? Let me raise my hand. Me, as a parent, I have fallen short, so I'll just point at myself. I'm bringing that up because sometimes kids will be in the best homes sometimes. Sometimes there are problems, sometimes they're not. But after they're over 18, 20-something years old, sometimes you can't demonize the parents sometimes for a child doing things, right? Like, and I think that's what happens. And I've been seeing on social media, people have been, and I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what they believe this, and this is their political leanings. And to which I say, I don't care what your political...
I don't care about the political leanings.
I don't care what their political leanings are. That doesn't mean that you are okay with what he did.
No. I mean, they're shocked, but unfortunately, because he's no longer around, there are going to be questions that are unanswered. So now you have to go look into, well, what was in the history? Things that we do know. He had access to trees, and I mean, that sounds funny, but his family is a family of arborists, so he knows his way around the woods. He aspired to be a firefighter. He had alleged abuse in the house, which the family denies. But some of these things, add up collectively, might give you some answers, which right now are hard to come by.
Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, we talked about it, and we got to talk about it again, about What are some things around the house that really makes it? I know one of the things millennials right now are sharing things about their homes that they just don't care about as much as the older generations. So we'll talk about that next. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley is now open. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for the 4th at Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley. Open now through July 4th. With over 100 fireworks stands and a variety of food and beverage options, you're sure to get your 4th of July off to a great start at Firecracker Alley. Don't miss the free fireworks show on July 1st. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally draining, but it can also be a financial hardship. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. This year, we are proud to celebrate 25 years of Northwest Hope and Healing. Since the year 2000, we have distributed over $2.8 million in direct financial assistance to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can help us make a difference. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville. It's an unforgettable afternoon of unwavering hope and inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens has given me back clear vision. They've performed over 80,000 successful lens replacement surgeries. At Sharp Vision, you'll get the best price combined with the best experience. Sharp-vision.com. That's sharp with an E, -vision.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The U.S. Senate today passed President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill, but it was close.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
The bill extends the Trump tax cuts, eliminates federal taxes on tips and overtime, and boosts spending on the military and immigration enforcement.
This is not a big, beautiful bill at all.
That's Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer, who says the bill increases the deficit by more than $3 trillion while reducing spending on Medicaid and the SNAP food program. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says if not for President Trump's tariffs, the Fed would have already lowered interest rates. CBS's Jason Brooks.
Speaking at a European Central Bank forum on monetary policy, Powell said that the central bank went on hold when it saw the size of the tariffs, and essentially all inflation forecasts for the U.S. went up substantially as a consequence of the tariffs. The Fed chair added that so long as the economy is in solid shape, the prudent thing to do is to wait and learn.
Starting today, you are paying more at the gas pump. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more on the higher state gas tax meant to pay for road projects.
In the spring, Washington lawmakers passed a transportation revenue package that includes a 6-cent gas hike, bringing the per gallon tax up to 55.4 cents. Diesel is also increasing by 3 cents per gallon today, too. By next year, the tax will increase 2% annually to keep up with inflation. Washington drivers pay the third highest gas prices in the country, behind California and Hawaii.
The man accused of stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students is expected in court tomorrow to plead guilty to murder. In exchange, Brian Koberger will dodge the death penalty. The family of at least one of the victims says that will not bring justice in the case. A procession is underway honoring the 2 firefighters who were fatally shot as they responded to a wildfire in northern Idaho Sunday. The bodies of Frank Harwood and John Morrison are being carried from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office to a funeral chapel in Coeur d'Alene. A third firefighter remains in critical but stable condition. Investigators say the suspect killed himself at the scene. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 443 points, NASDAQ down 111. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in South Center, a disabled vehicle is partially blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at I-405. In Parkland, equipment still working to get a logging truck upright again and clear the logs from State Route 512 west of Canyon Road. You're crawling from Waller Road to South Meridian. That disabled vehicle's been cleared from I-5 southbound to DuPont, but you are crawling along JBLM. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia, almost an hour and 10 minutes, 35 minutes longer than usual. That's probably due to a lot of folks leaving town for the holiday as well. Traffic brought to you by Kia of Everett. Over 400 tariff-free new Kias are available now at Kia of Everett with easy lease and financing options. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It is 75 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. I could tell it's a holiday week. There's just so much going on right now behind the scenes, including eating.
Are you full?
Yes. I'm really full.
I'm going to need a nap.
But you know what? The last thing people want to hear is us talking about this delicious food that they can't taste.
This is a siesta kind of day, though, after that kind of meal.
By the way, Ursula, real quick, you forgot, but I didn't forget. I was supposed to buy you lunch one time.
Yes, so this is it?
This is it.
You said bye.
Thanks, Island Soul.
All right, what's happening?
Well, let's do Agree to Disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
Yeah.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
All right, let's get into another round of intergenerational warfare, this time a home edition.
Okay.
According to folks in my generation, that'd be millennials, there are some things around the house that we were raised to value that simply don't matter. So I'm going to go through a couple of these, and you guys can weigh in on whether they are important to you. How about formal dining rooms?
The worst. Get rid of it.
Formal dining rooms.
Nasty.
I still have one.
You have a landline.
Why is it nasty?
I know.
It's not necessarily, I don't mean that, but I think formal dining rooms are outdated. And if you're listening right now, whose mama or grandmama had the formal living room where the white couches were in there and you weren't, as the kids were never allowed in there, and you only go in there when the company that you actually like can go in?
Yeah, I don't like that. I live in Seattle, so if you have a Seattle home, there's a good chance you don't, unless you have one of those old Victorian homes on Capitol Hill. Okay. There's a good chance you don't have formal this, formal that, formal everything.
Yeah.
Because you just don't have the space. But I have an area that is more formal. Like if I have dinner parties.
Oh, you have tea?
And then
you have tea?
No, but it's not compartmentalized. So I guess I could live without a formal dining room.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else you got, Chef?
Same on me. Okay. How about spotless homes? If it offends you, says one millennial, you're welcome to clean it. Do you guys apologize when people come over to your house?
No.
I'm sorry for the mess. I'm sorry for the.
Look, if you're a grown adult and you got a nasty home, Ursula's words, how you do anything is how you do everything. If it's nasty there, it's nasty other places too.
So you are picky when it comes to cleanliness in the home.
You got to have your crib nice.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm married. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Did you actually say that
I didn't
out
say
loud?
it. I didn't say it.
Yeah, you did. Everyone heard it too.
I'm just saying if I didn't have her, my house would probably be nasty.
Oh, I gotcha.
If I didn't have her.
Okay.
I think there's a balance on this one, and that is clean enough to be healthy, dirty enough to be happy. Because there's certain homes you walk into and it's like, this is a laboratory.
Yeah.
I can't live in here.
If you are almost working full time, just keeping your house clean, and your rug always has those marks where you can see the vacuum has gone back and forth, I think that's getting excessive.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make my bed every morning. I would rather be a couple minutes late to our meeting if I can make my bed.
That's good for you. That's good for you. Get to number 11 in Scooter.
Okay.
Get to number 11 in Scooter.
Okay, so that's animals on the furniture. Hey, they live here too, so they can sit.
People that let their animals on the furniture are the same people that kiss them in the mouth.
I actually agree. I don't have animals on the furniture.
Okay.
Scooter is a hairy dog. We have one couch that is just ruined because Scooter sits there all the time. I used to have Scooter in the bed, not anymore. King size bed, no more Scooter.
I like this topic.
Are you telling me you kick the cats off the couch or wherever? You don't kick the cats off the couch.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Frankie be doing whatever she wants. Matter of fact,
that's cat's
she has the run of the house.
No, Frankie messed up the white couch downstairs.
Yes.
Frankie messed that up.
All right.
Scratched it.
Yeah.
All right.
But you still have Frankie.
What about china cabinets?
Oh hell no.
China cabinets?
No. If you have China cabinets still, there's chances are you have a landline and you also still have plastic on your couches. Shout out to who remembers plastic on the couches? Do you remember how hot you'd be in the summertime?
There was
and
a
you just
certain
get up?
smell to them. Mothball smell.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
No China.
I used to love having a China cabinet.
Yeah.
Now it's just called a cupboard. I don't have
Do you have that set of plates that you only use once every 5 years?
Yes, I certainly do.
Oh, my gosh.
The set of plates that I always meant to finish, the ones that I got for the wedding,
right?
That I never completed the set. Yeah, I still have those.
Okay, how about neutral wall colors? Because growing up, I grew up in a very beige home.
I believe you.
Off-white beige.
I totally believe you.
Really? Why is that, Jay?
Let's keep going. No, keep going to the house.
No. So I think that paint is one of the most underestimated things that you can do to your home to create different vibes and feels. And no, I am a strong believer in color on the walls.
That's what my kids do.
No, not
Works
that
just
kind of color on the walls. I went with, Gee's looking at the list. What else do you like?
Number 19, holiday decorating. I'm finally getting my wife to understand. All that Christmas, all that stuff, all that decorating looks terrible.
The millennials say it's too much effort for short-term decor.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Christmas, yeah, Thanksgiving, yeah, but like, we don't have room for stuff. I don't need Easter, Halloween, like St. Pat, no.
Okay, I need to ask y'all.
Huh.
Because I see on the list here with the China cabinets, paper plates are fine according to millennials.
I disagree.
Fine. See, on occasion, I will pull out paper plates. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be entertaining all the time, I don't need to be doing dishes all the time.
Hey, look, I'm going to put my wife on blast right now. There's certain habits that my wife still has that I don't say nothing, but it kind of bothers me. Well, she kind of get it there's a couple things. Number one, when we have people come over, like sometimes, they want to keep accessorizing with their shoes. So she's a big, take your shoes off, even though we got the hardwood floors. That's number one. Number two, she'll have company come over and still do paper plates. And number three, she gets this from her friend Cheryl, where she wants you to write your name on your cup.
Okay, hold up. I'm okay with what Lillian is doing. Wait a minute. Because do you guys entertain a lot?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you said she wants people to take off her shoes?
Yeah.
Their shoes?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to mess up the fit. Sometimes the shoes is important for the fit.
I'm in agreement with you there. I don't make people take off their shoes at our house. Unless it's like a sloppy, muddy day.
But it's not like people are over there every day.
Yeah, okay. I'm in agreement with that. But I guess maybe I lean toward what Lillian does because on occasion I think it's okay to have paper plates. You don't? Who does the dishes in your home?
Cool. Huh?
Hey, you know what? If you feel embarrassed about paper plates,
did you see that?
All right, coming up next on the Gee Ursula Show, your text messages, feedback, and then Ursula's words to live by gonna have something to do with paper plates. Next, Gee Ursula.
A Pacific Northwest community searching for answers.
Tragedy in northern Idaho.
Unbelievable. You just don't expect somebody to do that to a firefighter.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is there.
Those firefighters, they arrived here to put out a fire started by the suspect. They had no idea where those bullets were coming from.
Stay with KIRO News Radio for the latest from the local voices you trust.
Attacks on first responders is sick.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley is now open. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for the 4th at Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley. Open now through July 4th. With over 100 fireworks stands and a variety of food and beverage options, you're sure to get your 4th of July off to a great start at Firecracker Alley. Don't miss the free fireworks show on July 1st. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
And now, tales of another way. You're packing for a trip. Stuffing clothes in a suitcase works mostly. But such chaos in your carry-on. Then you try packing cubes. Organization? Meet harmony. Sometimes another way is the better way. Like the new SR 509 Expressway, the alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads, plus provide better access to the ports. It's open now. Try it free through summer. Learn more at goodtogo509.com.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Hey, are aches, injuries, or everyday pain slowing you down? Well, it is time to move better, feel stronger, and get back to doing what you love. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is now accepting new patients, and no referral is needed. Their expert team offers personalized hands-on care to help you recover faster and stay pain-free longer. Shannon, what is it like to see new patients walk through your doors?
Rock, it's wonderful. You know why? It's because it's an opportunity for us at IRG to make a difference in someone's lives. It's so important that when people come in, they experience engagement, coaching, teaching. We build relationships with our patients, and we want to make it easy. We all know that healthcare has a lot of what I call minutia in it. We have a concierge call center. When you call, we're going to check your authorization, verification, certification, justification. We're going to find out everything we need to know about your insurance, and we're going to make it easy for you because we want you focusing on getting better.
And all you got to do is head over to irgpt.com to find the clinic nearest you. irgpt.com.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
Plumbing emergency? Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
DayandNight.net.
It is Gee and Ursula, everybody. Before we get to the text message, Ursula, I just wanted to say, like, we truly are lucky to do this job every day.
So true.
Being able to connect with you listeners. And by the way, as you all know, we don't care what size of the political spectrum you're on. It don't matter. Just want to know and let you know. Thank you for listening and hanging out with us.
Can I add something onto that?
Yeah.
You all may not know this out there, but we read all your messages and we genuinely care about you.
It's true.
We do.
It's true. And I feel privileged in having your trust that you share things that I know are probably things that maybe you have a difficult time even sharing with your closest friends or family.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that you feel that you can share it with us, I mean, it's really one of the things that I appreciate the most about this job.
Seriously.
It's humbling.
It is, absolutely. Okay, well, let's get to some of our text messages.
You going to start with the death penalty?
Yes, that was a very hot topic. Tom texted in and said, I'm Catholic, and I know I'm not supposed to believe in the death penalty, but the truth is, I do. Maybe I'm not as grounded in my faith as I wish I were, but when families are left to carry unbearable pain for the rest of their lives, it feels like justice should match the crime. I believe in the death penalty for rape because that trauma stays with a person forever. I wish I were more Christian in how I see these things, but what this man did was so heinous, I believe he should have at least had to face a full trial.
Wow.
Talking about Koberger.
Yeah. Anonymous in Bellevue. My sister was kidnapped, raped, hung, dismembered in Spokane in 1976. He still sits in prison to this day. Washington State didn't have the death penalty at that time. She was 13, I was 10. Yes, the death penalty would make me feel 100% better.
But then there's 206 who says the death penalty is uncivilized. State-sponsored killing is medieval. Locking a killer up for the rest of their life protects the public without the public becoming killers ourselves.
253 says, regarding the Idaho guilty plea, Mr. Scott, you say you are in favor of the death penalty, which is fair. Does it not concern you that studies show people of color and the poor are much more likely to be victims of erroneous convictions? Numerous studies have shown this. 253, I appreciate the text. And you know what? You're 100% right. People of color, right? Yes, in the past have been subject to get the death penalty. Some of them been innocent of those crimes. Disproportionate people being arrested in this country is also a problem. Yes. With all of that said, do better. And yes, I still believe in a death penalty.
On the billionaire giveaway bill that has passed the Senate, it is now back in the House. Ken in the 206 says, Gee and Ursula, I feel so screwed. The big, beautiful bill that passed the Senate and all the campaign promises have been denied. Social Security, Medicare, VA support will impact my life and my family for years. Our disabled daughter is going to lose her safety net because of the broken promises. Our other daughter will lose her PTSD counseling caused by federal law enforcement issues. My wife and I will see a reduction in our limited Social Security, Medicare, and VA support. Instead of supporting my lifelong party affiliation, I will not be able to, because of my VA disability and age, to support any party. So much for my support to the existing president and to his party. I don't even have the option of supporting someone who cares. And off the air, we all said, Ken, our heart goes out to you. And this doesn't, because you know how we feel about our current administration, this does not mean that we don't feel for you as you're going through this right now.
Thank you for saying that, Ursula. All right, Ursula, it is now time for your words to live by. What do you got?
And this is a quote from Dave Willis, who says, one of the truest tests of maturity is the ability to disagree with someone while still remaining respectful.
Good
Came
stuff.
to mind today.
Oh.
Something that we always need to remind ourselves of.
No question. Nick, I hope you're not too full to go ahead and give your final
I'm reaching
thoughts.
that breaking point, but I can fit one more in here. Yet another fad foodie spot found its way to town with some fancy Voodoo Doughnuts that we've seen somewhere around. And although it looks appealing, they don't beat the classic taste of the real, more natural donut that we usually don't tend to waste. And when it comes to shopping for some leggings at the mall, you know Ursula knows the dupes from all the sounds that she recalls.
Make that sound again.
I'm sure she doesn't mess around with the paper plates either.
No. Well, no, I do use the paper plates.
Oh, okay.
And I am a believer in Voodoo Doughnuts, although too many of those and it's not going to work.
All right. Okay, so here's what's happening. I know it's holiday week, and some of you all have family coming to town. I do want to pay off tomorrow some of the text messages because, Ursula, there were some people that said, I'm not looking forward to seeing some people during the holidays.
We're not naming names, though.
No. We're not going to name names, but it's a thing. Like,
okay.
Not everybody has a perfect situation. There are some things. Some people don't want to see that mother-in-law. Somebody don't want to see that father-in-law.
Okay. You can vent to us.
Yeah.
Keep the names out, but explain what it is about them that you don't look forward to.
All right. We got to get up on out of here. We will be back tomorrow, just so you know. Ursula, thank you.
Thank you.
Chef, always appreciate you, bro. Nick, way to keep it on fire back there, man.
Yeah, man.
The Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. Make sure you stick around. We appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Make that sound again.
So I try my best and pray to God he send me someone real to caress me and to guide me towards the love my heart.
Deborah had been living in pain.
I used to not be able to raise my arms even to get dressed. I couldn't do nothing.
She'd ripped her rotary cuffs, and it was finally time to do something about it.
I put up with it for over 2 years, and they wanted to do surgery on one shoulder, and it takes over a year to recover from that, and then you could have the other one done. It's like, no.
No. Instead, Deborah went to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
My fiance had heard you guys on the radio, and he was asking me about it, and I go, let's go for it.
So how are you feeling now?
I feel good, almost 100%.
So you would recommend this to other people who have similar injuries?
Oh, you bet, in a heartbeat. Definitely. Knees, shoulders, hips.
Knees, shoulders, hips. Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten,